There's something magnetic about a Sigma woman. She doesn't have to demand attention, yet she gets it. She doesn't chase approval, yet she earns respect. And whether men admit it or not, they notice every single time. Welcome to today's deep dive. If you're here, chances are you've either been called a Sigma female or you're starting to wonder if that label truly fits you. Maybe you've noticed how people describe you as different, hard to figure out, or even a little intimidating. But let me tell you this. Being a Sigma female isn't about being mysterious on purpose or playing some kind of game. It's about living authentically, without feeling the need to bend or break yourself just to fit someone else's mold. And here's the truth. Men can't ignore Sigma women, no matter how hard they try. Why? Because you embody something rare, something both intriguing and powerful. In this video, we're going to explore 9 specific Sigma female behaviors that men notice, admire, and sometimes even fear. But more importantly, you'll discover why these traits are so magnetic and why embracing them fully can transform the way you see yourself. So sit back, take a deep breath, and lean in. Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand what makes you stand out, you'll feel it in your core. Behavior 1, independence that speaks louder than words. Picture this, a crowded room where everyone is trying to impress someone else. Some are loud, some are overly polished, and some are desperate for attention. But then there's you, the Sigma female. You're not trying to stand out, and yet, without saying a word, you do. Why? Because independence radiates. Independence isn't about being stubborn or refusing help. It's about knowing you can stand on your own, and that changes everything about the way you move through the world. Think about the way you handle your responsibilities. You don't wait for someone to rescue you. If something breaks, you figure it out. If life throws you a curveball, you adapt. This quiet strength shows men something they don't often see. A woman who doesn't need them, but who might choose them. And that choice makes all the difference. Men notice independence instantly because it challenges a traditional narrative. For centuries, society conditioned women to be dependent, to wait for protection, to lean on others for direction. But Sigma women flip that script. You don't say, "I don't need anyone." Instead, you show it through your actions, your lifestyle, your decisions. And here's the thing. Men find that incredibly attractive because it signals that if they're in your life, it's because you want them there, not because you have no other option. This kind of independence doesn't come overnight. It's usually born from self-discovery, trial and error, and even pain. Maybe you've been through seasons where you had to carry yourself when no one else was there. Maybe you had to prove to yourself that you could survive without the validation of others. Whatever the journey, the independence you've cultivated is like armor, strong, polished, and undeniable. And when men see that, it catches them off guard. Because here's the reality. True independence is magnetic. It doesn't shout, it whispers, and those whispers are impossible to ignore. Behavior 2, deep, mysterious energy. Now let's talk about something men struggle to explain, but always feel, your mysterious energy. Unlike people who overshare every detail of their lives, Sigma women hold something back. Not because you're hiding, but because you understand something most people don't. Mystery creates depth. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who spilled their entire life story within the first 5 minutes? Chances are you didn't feel compelled to know more. But when someone reveals themselves gradually, with patience and layers, that's when curiosity grows. That's exactly what happens when men meet a Sigma female. Your mystery isn't calculated, it's natural. You don't feel the need to announce every thought or feeling, and that leaves room for intrigue. Men often find themselves drawn in, wanting to know more, wanting to uncover the layers of who you are. And here's the secret. Your mystery isn't about silence. It's about depth. When you do speak, when you do share, your words carry weight. They're not just filler, they're intentional. And that intentionality is what makes people hang on to every sentence. This mysterious aura is also what sets you apart from the crowd. You're not predictable. You're not easy to label. And in a world where most people broadcast every detail of their lives, your quiet self-possession feels rare, almost refreshing. Men especially can't ignore this, because deep down, they crave the thrill of discovery. And being around a Sigma female feels like peeling back the layers of a novel that only gets more captivating with each page. Behavior 3, unshakable standards. Here's where things get really interesting. Sigma women are known for their unshakable standards. And let me tell you, men notice this immediately. You don't settle, not in friendships, not in work, and definitely not in relationships. And it's not because you're picky or difficult, it's because you know your worth. This doesn't mean you expect perfection. It means you refuse to accept less than what aligns with your values, your energy, and your vision for your life. That's not arrogance, it's self-respect. When men encounter a Sigma female, they often realize quickly that charm alone won't get them far. You're not impressed by surface-level gestures or shallow promises. You want consistency. You want depth. You want alignment. And if a man can't meet those standards, you have no problem walking away. That ability, the willingness to walk away, is what makes men pay attention. Because let's be honest, so many people cling to relationships out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear of starting over, but not you. Sigma women see solitude not as loneliness, but as strength. You'd rather be alone and at peace than with someone who drains you. And men can feel that difference. It puts them in a position where, if they want to be with you, they have to bring their best self to the table. Your standards also extend beyond relationships. They show up in how you choose your circle, how you commit to your work, and even in the small daily choices you make. And when men see a woman who refuses to settle, not because she's entitled, but because she's self-aware, they can't help but take notice. Because deep down they know, a Sigma female doesn't play games. She doesn't lower her bar. She inspires others to rise up to it. Behavior 4, authentic confidence. Confidence is often misunderstood. Some people confuse it with arrogance, while others mistake it for loudness or dominance. But Sigma women carry a different kind of confidence, one that is authentic, grounded, and effortless. Here's the difference. Arrogance says, I'm better than you. True confidence says, I'm secure in who I am. And Sigma females live in that truth every single day. Men notice this because it shows in the smallest details. The way you walk into a room without seeking validation. The way you express your opinions without needing everyone to agree. The way you can sit in silence, comfortable in your own skin. This confidence doesn't come from outside approval. It comes from within, from knowing who you are, what you want, and what you stand for. That's rare, and men feel it the moment they're around you. And here's the interesting part. This confidence doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to. It's subtle, but it's powerful. It makes men lean in instead of tuning out. Sigma women embody a type of confidence that's inspiring because it's not performative. You don't have to try to be seen. You're already seen because the energy you carry speaks louder than any words ever could. Behavior 5, fierce intelligence. Let's talk about the mind, because Sigma women have one that can't be ignored. Men quickly realize that conversations with you aren't small talk. They're engaging, layered, and thought-provoking. You ask questions that make people think. You challenge ideas without tearing others down. You bring depth to every exchange. This kind of intelligence isn't just about book knowledge. It's emotional intelligence, intuition, and perspective. You see patterns where others see chaos. You find meaning in places most people overlook. And you're not afraid to speak your truth, even if it goes against the grain. Men often find themselves captivated by this. Why? Because intelligence combined with confidence is magnetic. It makes interactions feel alive. It makes them think deeper, reflect more, and even grow in your presence. But here's what really sets you apart. You don't use intelligence to dominate. You use it to connect. You don't just talk, you listen, you absorb, you reflect. And that makes every conversation feel like a genuine exchange, not a competition. This fierce intelligence is part of why men can't ignore Sigma women. Because being around you doesn't just feel interesting, it feels transformative. So far, we've uncovered 5 Sigma female behaviors that men can't overlook. Your independence, your mystery, your unshakable standards, your authentic confidence, and your fierce intelligence. But we're not done yet. The last 4 are just as powerful, and in some ways, even more striking. Because while men may admire your independence and intelligence, it's the next set of traits that often leave them in awe. So let's keep going. Behavior 6, emotional self-control. Most people react emotionally to every little thing. A rude comment, they lash out. A disappointment, they spiral. But Sigma women are different. You don't deny your emotions, you master them. Men notice that when you're upset, you don't explode. When you're challenged, you don't crumble. Instead, you pause, reflect, and respond with clarity. This doesn't mean you're cold, it means you're powerful. Emotional self-control is one of the rarest traits to find, and men can't ignore it because it sets you apart instantly. It shows them that you're not easily manipulated, you're not driven by drama, and you're not at the mercy of every passing mood. This kind of control is deeply attractive because it creates stability. Men know that with you, chaos won't rule the relationship, and that steadiness, it's priceless. Behavior 7, the ability to walk away. Now, this behavior is perhaps the most intimidating one of all, your ability to walk away. For many women, and men too, fear of being alone keeps them stuck in situations that drain them. Toxic friendships, unsatisfying jobs, unhealthy relationships. But Sigma women see it differently. You understand something most people avoid. Leaving is sometimes the most powerful choice you can make. When a man realizes you're not afraid to walk away, it shakes him, because it means he can't rely on fear to keep you around. He can't depend on manipulation, or comfort, or convenience. If he doesn't bring respect, effort, and authenticity, he loses you. This behavior tells the world, I am my own anchor. And men can't help but notice it, because deep down they know that anyone willing to walk away from what doesn't serve them is unstoppable. Your strength in this area isn't about coldness, it's about self-respect. You value your peace, your goals, and your happiness too much to trade them for temporary comfort. And men find that both intimidating and irresistible. Because the truth is, walking away isn't about leaving others. It's about staying loyal to yourself. Behavior 8, quiet leadership. Some leaders shout, demand, and dominate. But Sigma females, you lead without needing to announce it. Men notice the way people naturally look to you for guidance, even when you're silent. You don't beg for attention, you inspire it, and you don't demand loyalty, you earn it. This quiet leadership comes from your self-awareness and confidence. You don't need to control others. You influence them simply by being who you are. Whether it's in a team setting, a friendship, or even a relationship, your presence alone encourages others to rise to their best selves. Men are often fascinated by this because leadership is often associated with loudness. But your strength lies in subtlety, in patience, in example. You don't need to control anyone because you've already mastered yourself. And that's the kind of leadership that never fades. It grows stronger with time. Behavior 9, unapologetic individuality. Finally, we arrive at one of the most striking traits of a Sigma female, unapologetic individuality. You don't try to fit into the boxes society builds. You don't follow trends just to belong. You don't adjust your personality just to be accepted. Instead, you show up as yourself, flawed, unique, and authentic. This unapologetic individuality is what men find impossible to ignore, because it signals something rare: freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others. Freedom from the need to conform. Freedom from pretending. Your individuality isn't about rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's about living truthfully. It's about saying, this is me, and I don't need permission to exist as I am. And men, whether they admit it or not, crave that kind of realness. Because when they're around you, they feel inspired to drop their own mask too. That is the beauty of individuality. It doesn't just liberate you, it liberates everyone around you. Now that we've explored all 9 behaviors, let's step back and look at the bigger picture. These traits, independence, mystery, standards, confidence, intelligence, self-control, the ability to walk away, quiet leadership, and individuality, are not random. Together, they form an identity that is deeply magnetic. Men can't ignore you because you represent something they rarely encounter: a woman who is fully alive in her own skin. These traits, Independence, mystery, standards, confidence, intelligence, self-control, the ability to walk away, quiet leadership, and individuality are not random. Together they form an identity that is deeply magnetic. Men can't ignore you because you represent something they rarely encounter, a woman who is fully alive in her own skin. But here's what's even more powerful. These behaviors don't just affect men, they affect everyone. Your friends notice it. Your colleagues notice it. Strangers notice it. The energy you carry leaves an imprint long after you've left the room. Let's address the other side of the story. Why some men find Sigma women intimidating. It's not because you're unkind. It's not because you're too much. It's because you hold up a mirror. When a man encounters your independence, it shows him where he might still cling to dependency. When he experiences your self-control, it reflects where he still reacts impulsively. When he sees your individuality, it challenges him to ask, am I really being myself, or am I just blending in? In other words, Sigma women don't just attract, they challenge. And not every man is ready for that. But the ones who are, they rise to the occasion. They see you not as a threat, but as an invitation to grow, to expand, to step into something greater. Now let's talk about the deeper essence here, the feminine power behind all of this. Sigma women embody a rare balance. You are both soft and strong, intuitive and logical, independent yet capable of connection. Men can't ignore this because it's not the kind of power they see every day. It's not aggressive, it's not performative, it's steady. It's the kind of power that doesn't have to prove itself because it simply is. This feminine power isn't about competing with men or trying to outdo them. It's about embodying your own truth so fully that others feel compelled to respect it. And that in itself is irresistible. So what does all of this mean in relationships? When a Sigma woman loves, she doesn't do it halfway. She gives deeply, but she never loses herself in the process. She supports, but she doesn't smother. She inspires, but she doesn't control. Men in relationships with Sigma women often find themselves leveling up, not because you demand it, but because your very presence calls it out of them. And here's the most important part. You love by choice, not by necessity. You don't stay out of fear, you stay out of desire. And that kind of love is the most powerful of all. Imagine a man meeting a Sigma woman for the first time. At first, he notices her independence, how she doesn't cling or chase. Then he notices her confidence, her calmness, her intelligence. He's intrigued, but as he gets to know her, he also feels something else, the urge to grow. He realizes that if he wants to stand beside her, he has to bring his best self forward, not because she told him to, but because her very being inspires it. And whether that relationship lasts a lifetime or just a season, he walks away transformed. Because once you've experienced the presence of a Sigma female, you can't forget it. Why Sigma women should never dim their light. Sigma women, listen closely. The world will sometimes tell you to tone it down, to be less intimidating, to make yourself smaller so others can feel bigger. But here's the truth. You were not meant to shrink. Your independence, your mystery, your standards, your leadership, they are not weaknesses. They are your brilliance. And if someone feels uncomfortable in your presence, that says more about their insecurities than your worth. Men can't ignore you because you remind them of what's possible. You show them strength without arrogance, individuality without isolation, power without cruelty. So never dim your light, because the world doesn't need a quieter version of you. It needs the fullest, truest version of who you are. So let's bring this home. Being a Sigma female isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being true to yourself. It's about embracing the behaviors that set you apart, not to impress men, but to live authentically. And here's the paradox. When you stop seeking approval, when you stop chasing, when you start owning who you are, that's exactly when men can't ignore you. Not because you ask for attention, but because your presence demands it. So the next time you wonder if anyone notices, remember this. They do. They always do. Men can't ignore a Sigma female because a Sigma female is unforgettable. So stay true, stay bold, stay unapologetically you, because the world doesn't just see you, It feels you. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this spoke to you, share it with another Sigma female who needs to be reminded of her power. And remember, being yourself is your greatest strength.